So I'm Logan Wright, and this is my second tactical assignment. After reading Only Connect and learning about the 10 traits that the author believes are the most important in the world of communication, I want to take the time to discuss the 5 traits that I believe are the most useful and important in the sales industry. Sales is undoubtedly one of the most challenging professions one could get into, whether it's real estate, selling mortgages, insurance, or even small individual items such as door-to-door salesman. The sales world is rigorous and definitely challenging. With this being said, I think the most important trait from this list in the world of sales is definitely the very first one, and it's stated as they listen and they hear. This seems like a no-brainer or common sense, but honestly, so many individuals in this world lack that simple skill. In the sales industry, having this trait is crucial. Obviously, because you need to know what your customer or consumer wants. You're not going to sell if you don't know what they want. Ultimately, but looking at it at a deeper level, like you really get to know the customer in a short amount of time. If you're listening to them and having a conversation with them, just hearing their side of the story is going to help you. And I think this allows the customer to think highly of you in a short amount of time and really just respect you, which is going to help you make the sale. Next, the third trait on the list is stated as they can talk with anyone. This is also extremely important in the world of sales because ultimately, if you have the trouble communicating with people, you won't make it in this field. One common example is door-to-door salesmen, literally going door to door to try and sell something. If they can't talk to people, random people that they don't know, how are they going to make that sale? It's really just a field where you have to be able to communicate ultimately, and that's the way you can kind of just dumb it down. So the next trait I wanted to discuss was the ninth one, which states they nurture and empower the people around them. I think this one is one of the most crucial as well in the world of sales. This is because of like the long, hard hours it takes to be successful in sales. Most jobs in this industry involve working in a team environment around people all day long. Ultimately, that's because of the ability to have the people around you to talk to whenever you need somebody, if things aren't going your way, if you're not making those sales, or just feed off another's energy. Because some people, if they're doing good and they're energetic in that team environment, they're going to help you. One example I could use is just like the whole idea of selling real estate. Some real estate agents will go 3-4 months without making a whole sale before they make their first sale. And it kind of just like, I believe it's like super important to have that team environment and to be able to empower the ones around you to be successful. The fourth trait I want to talk about was the eighth one, and it states they understand how to get things done in the world. Now, the reason I think this one is important is because of the fact that the sales industry can be shady at times. There are plenty of salesmen that make a very good living by doing what's best for them financially instead of the customer. And morally, I think that's wrong. I understand that there are some gray areas regarding what's shady and what's not, especially in different fields of sales. However, I feel like doing the right thing is much more important in the long run, not just for the customer, but for the salesman as well, morally. This might be a dumb connection, but I think one connection to make to this specific trait is definitely The Wolf of Wall Street. Excuse me. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, that movie, or how everything went down, but pretty much he scammed a lot of people on a lot of stocks, penny stocks, and he made a lot of money doing it. Jordan Belfort made a lot of money doing it, but ultimately he was sent to jail because of it. Lastly, I believe the fifth trait is also important in the sales industry. This trait is described as they can solve a variety of puzzles and problems. At first glance, it might not seem like this trait would be important in selling. However, think of it as a mind game is kind of the way that I wanted to depict it. Instead of physically being able to do tasks, salesmen and women are forced to use their brain to depict and solve mind games of the customers. What's the customer thinking? How are they feeling? Why are they leaning one way or another? I feel like it's a mind game that a salesman or woman has to just kind of, break down and really understand to not just make the sale, but like see how much you can get out of them. It's like one example I could use is a phone salesman. They sell you the phone, and then they're going to ask you for the insurance. It's all just adding up, but they want to see how much they can get away with, which I don't think is morally wrong if they're doing it the right way. So what I mean by that is like, how are you going to take what you can get without pushing too far? And I think that's kind of how I would describe the whole puzzles and problems situation, which is extremely important in this industry, I believe. Ultimately, these traits are extremely important in this particular industry of sales, which has quite the reputation in the professional world. I think there's a lot of bad thoughts on sales. I think there's a lot of good thoughts on sales. There's a lot of backstabbing that goes on in every sort of sale. It doesn't matter what it is, it just happens. But I think it's also extremely important to realize how impactful the industry can be to somebody, such as the housing market. Imagine getting somebody their first house, being a part of selling them their first house and just being a part of their life forever, if you think about it, because that was the first time that they moved in, type of thing. And just being a part of that, I think, can be really impactful for somebody individually if they're doing it the right way. I believe using these 5 traits would 100% benefit a salesperson in today's world. And I think these are the best 5 traits that I would use to kind of describe a salesperson, and kind of the things that go along with being a salesperson, because there is a lot of stuff that people take negatively, but I think there's a lot of positives to it. And I think using these 5 traits would be the best to kind of benefit a salesperson.